The small shuttle landed on the strange planet with a soft thud. Dust rose in thin clouds as the engines cooled, and the human explorer, Marcus Vane, stepped out. His boots sank slightly into the soft, golden sand, and he looked around. The sky glowed with two suns, one larger and burning red, the other small and pale blue. Strange, tall rock formations twisted into the sky like the fingers of giants. The planet seemed alive, but empty at the same time. Marcus took a deep breath, feeling the chill of the alien airbrush against his skin. His sensors picked up unusual energy readings nearby. This isn't just another uninhabited planet, he muttered to himself. His hand rested on the grip of his pulse blaster. There was something here, something powerful, but he could not see it yet. Then, he heard it, a soft whisper. At first, he thought it was the wind moving through the rocks, but the words came again, clear and delicate. "Do you know who I am?" Marcus froze. His heart skipped a beat. The voice was beautiful, melodic, and strangely commanding. He looked around, trying to find its source, but the landscape seemed empty. Then, from between two towering rocks, a figure emerged. She walked with elegance, every step perfectly balanced, as if she floated slightly above the ground. Her hair shimmered like liquid silver in the red sunlight, and her eyes glowed faintly, reflecting both curiosity and power. Marcus's voice came out shaky but honest. You're the most beautiful in the galaxy." The figure tilted her head slightly, studying him. She did not smile. There was a subtle power in her gaze, a strength that made the ground itself feel small beneath her feet. "I am the Queen," she said quietly, almost like a secret, and yet every word carried weight. Marcus's mind raced. Queen? What queen? He had explored hundreds of worlds, but he had never met someone with such authority, such presence. His pulse quickened, both in fear and fascination. She extended a hand, not to greet, but to test him. Energy sparked faintly from her fingers, a warning. Marcus realized quickly that she could destroy him with a gesture if she wished. But instead, she simply watched him, her gaze weighing him as if trying to read his very thoughts. "Why are you here, human?" she asked. Her voice was calm, yet every syllable struck Marcus like a pulse of electricity. I am an explorer. I travel to see what is unknown." "I mean no harm," Marcus said carefully, keeping his hands visible and open. His mind was racing, thinking of every possible way this encounter could go wrong. The Queen's lips curved slightly, not a smile, more like a faint acknowledgement of his answer. Then she spoke again, her voice softer this time, almost a whisper carried by the wind. "You are brave, or foolish? Perhaps both. But I sense something in you. Something different from the others of your kind." Marcus swallowed hard. He had been in many dangerous situations, but something about this queen, something about her presence, made him feel small, like a single spark in a raging storm. He noticed movement in his peripheral vision. Small drones, almost invisible, hovered around her, scanning him. Advanced technology, unlike anything he had seen. She was not only royalty, she was a ruler with power beyond imagination. His curiosity burned. Why show yourself to me?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. The Queen's eyes narrowed slightly, and she turned her gaze toward the horizon. "The galaxy is changing. Forces you cannot imagine are stirring. And yet, you were chosen to see me. Not by me, but by fate." Marcus felt a shiver run down his spine. The weight of her words pressed on him. Fate? Chosen? This was no ordinary meeting. He realized he had stumbled into something far bigger than his little exploration missions. Suddenly, she moved. Not with her feet, but almost as if the air itself carried her. Marcus could not keep up with her speed. In a blur, she disappeared behind a rock formation, leaving a faint shimmer in the air. Marcus ran after her, adrenaline pumping through his veins, but when he reached the place where she had been, she was gone. For a moment, he stood still, trying to understand what had just happened. Then, a whisper again, soft, teasing, almost playful. "Do not follow blindly, yet." Marcus's heart pounded in his chest. He knew one thing for certain: this queen, this mysterious being, was not ordinary. She held secrets, powers, and perhaps responsibilities that he could not even imagine. And somehow, he was now part of her story. He looked around, scanning the rocky landscape. Strange symbols glowed faintly on the ground, pulsing with energy that matched the readings from his instruments. This planet was not just alive, it was guarding something, or perhaps it was alive because of her presence. A sudden vibration beneath his feet startled him. He instinctively grabbed for his blaster, but before he could act, a soft hum filled the air, like the sound of 1,000 voices whispering in harmony. The temperature dropped slightly, and the sky seemed to shimmer with colors that didn't exist in any human spectrum. And then, she appeared again, standing at the edge of a cliff overlooking a vast canyon filled with sparkling energy. Her arms crossed lightly, her eyes glowing brighter than before. She looked down at him with a mixture of curiosity and challenge. "You are far from home, human," she said. "And yet, you stay. Why?" Marcus straightened, trying to project confidence. I want to understand. I want to see. I want to learn from you." For a moment, the queen said nothing. Then, she took a step closer. The air around her seemed to hum with power. "Perhaps, the galaxy needs humans more than I thought. But be warned, curiosity can be dangerous." Marcus felt the truth of her words deep in his bones. He realized he was standing at the edge of something extraordinary. Something that could change his life and perhaps the fate of the galaxy forever. And then, just like that, she vanished. The shimmer in the air was gone, leaving only the soft glow of the alien suns and the whispering wind. Marcus stood alone, heart racing, mind spinning with questions. "She's the queen," he whispered to himself. "But, why did she choose me?" He did not know yet, but he would soon find out. And the journey that lay ahead would test everything he knew about courage, loyalty, and the very meaning of being human. Marcus barely slept that night in his shuttle. The memory of the queen's silver hair, her glowing eyes, and the soft whisper of her voice haunted him. He kept thinking about the energy readings, the shimmering symbols, and the way she vanished as if the planet itself had swallowed her. Sleep was impossible, curiosity burned hotter than exhaustion. At dawn, the twin suns rose over the jagged horizon, painting the sky in colors Marcus had no names for. Something inside him told him he could not leave. He needed answers. And somehow, he knew she was the key. He followed the faint energy traces his instruments detected, leading him deep into a canyon filled with glowing crystals. The air was thick with power. Every step echoed in the vast empty space, yet he felt eyes watching him. He froze, and the soft hum of the energy increased, almost like a heartbeat. Then, a voice, soft, commanding, and unmistakable. "You've come back, good. Curiosity is dangerous, human." Marcus turned. She was there, sitting atop a crystal pedestal, her silver hair catching the light, her eyes brighter than ever. But now, her expression was serious. Not just power, but authority, wisdom, and something heavier, like a burden she carried alone. "I need to understand," Marcus said, stepping closer cautiously. "Why did you appear to me? What is this place?" She studied him silently. Then, slowly, she rose. Her movement was fluid, almost like water flowing over rocks. "This planet, it is a guardian. It watches, protects, and tests those who come here." Her gaze flicked over him. "And now it has tested you." Marcus frowned. "Tested me? For what?" Her eyes softened, though the glow remained. "The galaxy is in danger. Forces gather in the shadows, creatures and powers you cannot imagine. My kingdom, my people, are threatened. And yet, I sensed something in you, human. Something no alien can replicate: courage, unpredictability, hope." Marcus's heart raced. You need my help?" The queen shook her head slightly. "Not yet. But soon. First, you must understand the rules of my world. Power here is not just strength. It is knowledge, trust, and sacrifice. She extended her hand, and Marcus noticed a small crystal floating above her palm. It pulsed like a heartbeat, warm and alive. "Touch this," she said, "and see what the universe shows you." Marcus hesitated. His instincts screamed caution, but curiosity and awe overpowered fear. He reached out. The moment his fingers brushed the crystal, a flood of images and sensations overwhelmed him. He saw galaxies collapsing, stars being swallowed by black voids, alien fleets clashing in silent wars across space. He felt emotions not his own: fear, sorrow, determination. And through it all, a single truth emerged: the galaxy had been watching humans, quietly, wondering if they could rise above their limits. Marcus gasped, pulling his hand back. His mind reeled. This is too much. The Queen's voice was calm, almost gentle. You survived the first glimpse. Many cannot. You are human, and yet, you are more. Marcus swallowed hard. Why me? Why not one of your own? Her eyes glimmered with sadness. Because humans are unpredictable. You act without knowing the outcome, yet you choose courage over fear. That is rare in any species. That is why you are here. A sudden vibration shook the crystal pedestal, and alarms of energy rang out across the canyon. The Queen's expression hardened instantly. They are coming, she said. The rogues from the outer sectors, they have discovered my presence here. Marcus stepped back, heart hammering. Who? What do they want? The throne, she said simply. Control over my kingdom and the energy of this planet. If they succeed, the galaxy will fall into chaos. Her gaze fixed on him. And you, human, you will either help save it or die trying. Marcus felt a rush of fear, but also something else: determination. He straightened his back, meeting her gaze. Then I'll help. I don't know how yet, but I will. A faint smile touched her lips, fleeting and almost imperceptible. Brave words. We will see if you are worthy of them. She stepped closer to the edge of the canyon, gesturing to the swirling energy below. I cannot leave this planet. My people are scattered across the stars, my enemies closer than you think. You must leave the canyon and prepare. Learn, understand, survive. The galaxy is watching. And soon, the moment of reckoning will arrive. Marcus felt the weight of her words pressing on him. This was not a simple mission. It was a test of mind, body, and soul. And somehow, he knew the Queen would be watching him at every step. Just then, a shadow moved across the canyon walls. Marcus turned sharply, and his pulse quickened. He saw shapes emerging from the crystal shadows, creatures he had only read about in ancient galactic texts, mercenaries armed with strange weapons, moving with precision and purpose. The Queen's voice cut through his thoughts. They will not touch me yet. But they will test you, and your limits. Remember, human, every choice has consequences. Every action ripples across the stars. Marcus felt the gravity of the situation. He was not just on a strange planet anymore. He was standing on the threshold of something that could change the fate of the galaxy. For the first time, he understood the truth in her words. Humans were underestimated, but perhaps, just perhaps, they could rise to the challenge. The Queen turned and vanished again, leaving only the echo of her voice. Prepare yourself, human, the galaxy is waiting. Marcus stood alone in the glowing canyon, his heart pounding, his mind racing. He realized one thing with absolute certainty: nothing would ever be the same again. And whatever lay ahead, he had crossed a point of no return. Marcus had never felt a night so heavy with silence. The twin suns had set, leaving the alien sky painted in streaks of violet and silver. The canyon that once shimmered with crystal light now seemed like a dark maze, hiding dangers in every shadow. He remembered the Queen's words: the galaxy is waiting, prepare yourself. But preparation could only do so much. What awaited him was far beyond anything he had imagined. A sudden vibration in the ground snapped him from his thoughts. From the darkness, shapes emerged: mercenaries and alien warships, moving silently, almost as if the planet itself had awakened them. The rogues from the outer sectors had come. Their goal was simple: capture the Queen and harness the power of this planet. Marcus swallowed hard, gripping his pulse blaster, his heart pounding like a war drum. Then, she appeared. The Queen stepped from the shadows, her silver hair flowing like a river of light. But this time, there was no soft whisper, no teasing. Her gaze was sharp, her aura radiating authority and deadly power. "They will not harm me if you survive," she said calmly. "They will test your courage, human. Protect me, or die trying." Marcus nodded, determination hardening in his chest. "I won't let them take you." The first wave of enemies attacked with silent precision. Marcus dodged energy blasts, rolling over crystal formations, his blaster firing in rapid bursts. Despite his human fragility, he moved with instinct, unpredictability, and courage, qualities that no alien technology could anticipate. The Queen's power was terrifying. With a flick of her hand, waves of energy knocked back the attackers, shimmering barriers forming around her. Yet even she could not reach every enemy. Marcus realized that the only way to survive was to fight alongside her, using both human instinct and whatever he had learned from her earlier lessons. They moved as a team, him, unpredictable and daring, her, precise and commanding. The rogues, confident in their superior weapons, began to falter. Marcus used the terrain, the glowing crystals, and the shadows to outmaneuver them. He understood something the Queen had hinted at: humans could improvise, adapt, and act without fear of perfection. That made them dangerous in ways the galaxy underestimated. Amid the chaos, Marcus saw a massive ship hovering above the canyon, larger than any he had ever seen. A dark figure appeared on its bridge, the rogue leader. The Queen's expression hardened. "He knows me," she said, almost quietly. "He was once close, but now, he is nothing but ambition and rage. If he wins, the galaxy will burn." Marcus's pulse quickened. This was no ordinary fight. The stakes were cosmic, the battlefield stretching beyond the canyon, across space itself. He glanced at the Queen, she looked at him, eyes glowing with trust and expectation. Marcus realized then what she had meant by humans being unpredictable. She believed in him, and he could not fail. The rogue forces pressed harder, but Marcus had found his rhythm. He lured them into traps, used the environment to collapse crystal bridges beneath them, and even managed to disable a few small alien crafts. With every victory, he felt the thrill of being part of something greater than himself, an epic struggle that could shape the fate of the galaxy. Then, a massive explosion shook the canyon. One of the rogue leaders had breached a critical energy core. The Queen leapt into action, her energy forming a protective dome around the planet's heart. Marcus realized that the rogues were trying to weaponize the planet itself. If they succeeded, the entire region of space could be destroyed. He had no time to think. Using a combination of agility and strategy, Marcus reached the core. With a deep breath, he rerouted the energy flow using a sequence he barely understood but remembered from observing the Queen earlier. Sparks flew, alarms blared, and the air filled with electric heat. For a moment, everything froze. The planet seemed to hold its breath. Then, with a brilliant surge, the core stabilized. The rogue ships faltered, their weapons useless against the planet's restored energy. Marcus fell to his knees, exhausted but alive. The Queen descended beside him, her gaze softening for the first time. You saved more than me. You saved the galaxy." Her voice carried awe, respect, and something else, something human that Marcus recognized: gratitude. Marcus looked up at her, breathing heavily. I didn't know I could do it." "You did because you believed," she said simply. "Not in my power, not in the odds, but in yourself. That is what makes humans extraordinary." The twin suns began to rise again, casting golden light over the canyon. The battle was over, the rogues defeated or retreating into the void of space. Marcus felt a strange pride, but also humility. He had been tested, pushed to his limits, and he had survived, not alone, but alongside the Queen. She placed a hand on his shoulder. "The galaxy will remember this day. And so will I. Perhaps, it is time the humans take their place among the stars." Marcus smiled, feeling a warmth he had never known. He had started as a lone explorer, curious and reckless. Now, he was part of something far bigger, a story that would be told across galaxies, a story of courage, trust, and the power of humanity. As they looked out over the canyon, the energy crystals glowing like countless stars, Marcus knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy was vast, full of danger, mystery, and opportunity. And for the first time, he felt ready to meet it, not as a visitor, but as a human who had proven his worth. The Queen turned to him, eyes sparkling. "You are not just brave, Marcus, you are a part of this galaxy's future. Remember that." And in that moment, Marcus understood the truth of her words. Humans were underestimated, feared, and ignored by the cosmos. But now, humanity had a chance. Through courage, heart, and daring, they could rise. The galaxy was watching. And this time, it had reason to believe.